Welcome to the modality of water work. I, as a water worker, and the other certified water workers who've been trained and practiced this holding, this healing space, we hold a space of our own tears. We are with our own place of tears, and invite you to join us through the connection of humanity's tears that come through you when they do come. It's not about having to cry, forcing tears, trying to cry. It's about sharing the space where tears would arise, where they have arisen, that place of allowance of humanity. So we both go to a warmth, a not trying, and I'm with my tears. I may cry, you may cry, we may cry, but it's the place that tears arise that's the powerful depth of our human beingness. The place that's often not available, especially with others. So we allow the sharing of that space. And I, as water worker, I'm working with myself. I'm not trying to help you. I am not working on your story. I am holding a space so you can navigate the waters yourself at your own pace. For those of you who've worked with a relational presence and speaking circles, you have the first piece, which is that we stay with each other with neutral, allowing eyes, with positive regard behind them. Not trying to connect, not penetrating, not staring, but just allowance. And letting our eyes close if they want to close. For those of you who have not practiced relational presence, we take about 5 or 10 minutes at the beginning of a session to practice pure relational presence, silence, allowance of our co-presence together. We do some basic exercises and then exercises where words arise, if they do, without leaving this shared humanity presence together. And when that's comfortable for you to just share the space without pressure to talk about anything particular, then you might start talking about your relationship with tears. And I'm just there with you. I might say things like, if I find you being in your head and sort of out there, thinking of your story, being more interested or involved in your story than in the space we're holding together, I might say, come on back, let's take a breath and be right here. But for the most part, when you're there, I listen with. We as water workers listen and hold the space with no judgment, with no sense that we know what direction would be useful for you to go. No, you know. Wisdom and clarity come from this place of tears when we allow the place to deepen. You might find that place. It might be here that you sense tears coming from, or here. Now, water workers have various modalities that they've mastered. Many have come from coaching, therapy, energy work, massage, body work, other healing modalities. But they're primarily being a water worker in water work sessions, so they don't sound like a therapist, they don't sound like a coach. However, as the session goes on, they might bring some of their essential knowing in their field into the space, if it's coming from relational presence and their place of tears. But mostly, as water workers, we're setting up the safety for you, as I say, to navigate your waters and see what is coming through, whether it's tears or stories or insights into what would expand that space so that you can be in more rich relationship with your tears to irrigate the way nature intended us as humans. We got tear ducts we're wanting to irrigate in joy and compassion, in self-compassion, in grief, in sadness, in pain, in love. Tears are wanting us. So, as somebody told me, and I said, yes, you're right, we're not looking for the waterfall. If it comes, wonderful. It's the lake, the ocean we're sharing. And what happens often in these sessions is there may or may not be tears in the session, but we've expanded the place where tears where we would sense tears when we're out of the room, when we're in our lives, because in our everyday life, every day, there's something comes up. Situations arise where we might cry. And we start to see, oh, I almost cried there, and I stop myself. Wow, we start to catch ourselves, stopping ourselves. We say, oh, I'm going to let it go this time. I'm going to cry. Because I have a consciousness of it. I'm tapping into that reservoir that I love to join. So we track our tears day by day. We start finding the situations in which crying is healthy. So it's about wholeness and being held in that wholeness. And remember, the water worker is not out there fixing you. No, just appreciating your process. From there, flow. So the water worker may cry. And you might ask the water worker, what are you crying about? And the water worker may have some answers. May respond from that place. But mostly, again, the water worker is just there holding the space, and in a half-hour water worker session, there's a good chance that 25 minutes of it, the water worker says nothing. Holds a deepening space. This is a new modality. This is a useful modality. This might be the simplest, most helpful modality space that we can give each other as human beings. And that's why we have coaches and therapists who find they can offer this to their clients when the timing is right and step out of the role of whatever their role is into the role of water worker, water holder, tear allower. Because that's where we live. That's where our tears come. That's where our joy comes. That's where our power comes. That's where our clarity, our purpose, our passion, it all comes from the same place that tears come. And we often sometimes don't get that place because they're associated with tears, and we have judgments about tears being negative, about weakness. No, strength, power is wrapped up in our tears. So we want to allow the flow, the natural irrigation that nature intended. So that's some introduction to water work. Thank you for listening.